How you doing this afternoon, Coach?
No, I don't, bud.
Great. A question I had asked Coach McDermott a few weeks ago about it. He told me to refer it to you. Who came up with the theme of that everybody eats?
Um, that's a great question. I'm sure it probably hit my head one time. I've used it in the past and whatnot, but just as you put together this roster and this team, and a bunch of the parts that we have, and just trying to buy into a certain type of mindset and philosophy on offense, and just getting the guys to buy into one another, kind of just stuck. And look, what it means. It's a week to week thing, and I think sometimes it gets blown out of proportion of our intent of it. But all I care about is the guys playing for one another, not worrying about individual success, and only caring about finding ways to win football games.
Yeah, just one of the few years that I continue to hear that theme throughout. You're already 10 weeks in, plus the training camp at St. John Fisher. I heard it the first time out there. And man, it seems like even guys now, when they're doing their post-game interviews, they mention that everybody eats theme. So you can tell that it's been ingrained into them, that's what it's all about. They haven't forgotten what this whole season is about.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes,
the wins are all that matter.
Absolutely. The second question is, what does Mack Hollins mean to the team? Especially when he made that play, he caught the ball, slid, and had the wherewithal to get up and run out of bounds, step out of bounds to save time before that field goal before halftime.
Yeah, and Mack was a huge signing for us in the offseason, and we kind of knew it. His mindset, the way that he goes about everything that he does, his preparation, his leadership, and this locker room, this offense, this team kind of bought into who he is and allow him to be himself. And man, he does a great job preparing. You go back to the Tennessee game, Curtis goes down, him taking over, Curtis's role. You look at the end of the game when Keon goes down, boom, he just switched into another position, be able to take that over. And, yesterday having to play a lot of reps, based upon how the game was going. And Max just always ready, regardless of if he's tagged on the plays or not. He's ready for the play if the opportunity comes. And we have all the faith in him. And I just love how he prepares, how he plays. And, he came up with a lot of big plays yesterday that were a big product of us winning the football game.
Absolutely. Hey, Dad, I can see why you brought him on. A very good veteran add-on for this season. Thank you for your time, Coach. Good luck this week against KC.
I appreciate you.
Coach Brady, Mookie Hawkins, Waffle Sports Cincinnati. Good win yesterday.
Thank you.
Just good to talk about, just getting Curtis Samuel involved. It was, good to see that he was able to, make some plays yesterday.
Yeah, it was good to get him out there. As always, there was a lot of moving parts in the game went, both offensively and kind of how things were going defensively and whatnot. I'm always going to want to get him more involved, but it was good to get the ball in his hands and seeing him out there playing confidently. And I felt, I didn't feel any rust or anything like that from a guy that's, been a little banged up and hasn't played. And he went out there and, did what we were asked to do. And I'm excited for him to continue to progress in this offense.
Absolutely. And on the offensive side, how challenging could it be when you have a lot of moving parts and then, people don't, realize how injuries play a lot, that goes into that, just the timing, the continuity, just the overall timing of the offense.
Yeah. It's the reality of it, right? You can't control it, but you can go into a game and a certain guy can have a set number of plays and, boom, in the middle of a drive, he goes out and, you got to go through the whole call sheet of, okay, is he just out for a drive? Is he out for the game? What does that mean? Hey, if we call it this, who do we want here? I wish I could say it's just a lot of times it might be a little easier than said than, but, you go back to the Tennessee game, losing Curtis, there's, yesterday, with Dalton, your call sheet kind of looks like like a Picasso painting at the end of the day. There's a lot of markers and stuff all on it. But the guys that we got here, there's a reason that they're on this team and understanding that, hey, I got to make sure I know not just my plays, but I know, just in case, a guy goes down like Dalton, and that's why you have Dawson and Q, and Dawson's been doing this for so long that, we didn't blink and him go in there and make some big plays and guys step up and, it's a product of the guys we got in the locker room.
Some great quality depth pieces. And Coach, Veterans Day, what it symbolizes to you?
It's it's one of those things. It's like I feel like I'm not supposed to be working today. I'm proud to be a part of this country and be able to. I understand the people that have fought for us, and fortunately the people who are no longer with us. But I'm proud to obviously be an American, and I don't take that for our freedom for granted, and truly honored honor the guys that kind of came before us. And I don't feel right working necessarily, but it's a product of our business and whatnot. But I'm thankful for everybody, all the veterans and everybody in our military.
Appreciate your time, Coach. Great. Good luck this week.
Thank you.
Hi, Joe. How are you?
Good. How you doing?
Good. The last 3 weeks, Josh has 4 interceptions, but I think you could probably make the argument that your passing game has clicked as well as it has all year in those games. How do you kind of balance the two there? Maybe Josh has some throws he'd like back, but overall, it seems like the passing game is progressing.
Yeah, I mean, anytime you turn the ball over, it's not what you want, and no matter if there's always going to be throws throughout the game that he's going to want back. Even games that he might not have an interception, there's throws he wants back, and it's a fine line each week, right? I want him to go out there and play confidently and understanding, and one of those plays, the guy made an incredible play yesterday, and it's the reality of it in this, but. I feel like he's comfortable, and we're continuing to progress, and especially with each week, it's just a product of the NFL, right? Guys are going in and out, and getting chemistry and trying to get a feel of kind of who's out there and what routes they're doing, and but he hasn't blinked and has gone out there and just played within the system, and we have to continue doing
that. Early in the season, you were a little run heavy on first downs, and over the last maybe 5 weeks or so, you've kind of balanced it out a little bit. What's gone into kind of making that switch a little bit there?
I think there's every week, I don't go into the weeks saying, hey, we were this or I have to be this. It's a product of kind of who we have, on a week to week basis. How we feel like we can attack the defense. Some of it has to do with who the defense is, but most of it is kind of tell me what we have and how I think we can, stay ahead of the chains and, what puts us in the best position to have success. And I think a run game and the pass game kind of go hand in hand. Sometimes when you're running the ball well, opens up the windows for the pass game. When you're passing the ball well, forces teams to have to decide what they want to do from a coverage standpoint. And so, I'm not striving to be like perfectly balanced. And even when the run game's not working, you have to stick with it, because it eventually, you have to play 2-dimensional or else, it makes it really hard on your quarterback. And so, I'm pleased with how our guys are just, whether it's pretty early, being able to sustain it and take some of those bloody 3-yard runs and, eventually knowing that they might pop. But if anything, it's keeping the defense honest and it opens up the pass game and vice versa. And so nothing where it's like, hey, I'm doing all this, so I have to go the different direction. It's more of a week to week. Tell me who we got and putting our guys in best position to have success.
The last few weeks, you've kind of come out and got Josh an early throw on the first drive or so. I think yesterday it was to Curtis, and he had the big one to Dawson against Seattle. As good as he is, how important is it to come out and get him into a rhythm? Because, it's instead of pressing when things kind of went sideways for a few minutes there yesterday, he was still calm and, you were able to get through all that stuff.
Yeah, I think any quarterback, what you can be a Hall of Famer, you can be a rookie. I think you always want to be able to, get in a rhythm, see the ball go in the hoop and just feel, just same thing as a wide receiver. You can catch a hitch on the first play and feel like you're going to be unstoppable. And just getting that first catch, that first run, that first hit, that first, completion out of the way is always critical, whether it's the first play or throughout the drive. I think it's always important. You don't want to come off the field or come out of the first drive feeling like, man, I haven't got a completion and I've got hit a couple of times. And so it was good to get the first touch yesterday to Curtis and, give us an opportunity to be able to kind of get going. We obviously have to do a better job on the second play and continuing from there. But yeah, it's always important to get him in a rhythm.
Thanks.
Hey, Joe, you look at this Kansas City Chiefs defense, and obviously they're so impressive, but then you deep dive into the numbers a little bit more. They're number 1 in the NFL in rushing yards allowed on the road. what makes them so good wherever they play? Obviously, they have a mentality that they want to try to stop the run, but the players that they have, the scheme, Spagnuolo, what makes them so tough to prepare for when you want to get your run game going?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to not kind of go into specifics, but like they've been the best defense in the NFL, last couple of years, and it's a credit to, you can see the natural shifts and how good of a job Spags has done, kind of transforming the defense and getting it to the type of identity that they want to be, and they make it tough on all three downs, and whether it's run or pass, they put a lot of stress on you, and so it's hard kind of not getting the specifics, but he does a really good job. He kind of makes it all look the same, whether it's a pressure or not a pressure. He does a great job on disguises, and these guys kind of fly around and they play confidently. And I think when you watch any good defense on tape, you can just watch it on the silent tape and you can tell that it's a good defense. And so it's going to be a great opportunity for us this week, in our house, and I'm excited for the opportunity.
And we don't know Dalton's status. Obviously, day by day, you'll see how he does in practice. But it's a luxury to have when your number one tight end goes down, to have a guy the caliber of Dawson Knox. Made a big play. I think it was the first 30-plus yard reception by a tight end for the Bills this season. What's it like having him in the offense and what he potentially offers if Dalton can't go? Yeah,
I mean, Dawson is a number one tight end, and it is unfortunate. I mean, and he was a number one tight end before we got Dalton Kincaid. And, just a product of sometimes, spreading the ball around. It's hard to everybody get a lot of touches and targets, but Josh, us, we have a complete confidence in Dawson and anything he has to do in the pass game. We're fortunate of having multiple tight ends that can do a lot of those things. But, Dalton goes down yesterday and certain personnel groupings, things had to change. But, we had full confidence that Dawson can do that and kind of share the load and not come out of the game because, he's done that for a lot of years here prior to, Dalton getting here. And he's a great leader, great football player, and full confidence when he's in there that he's going to be able to get the job done.
Thanks, Joe. Appreciate it.
Thanks.
Hey, Joe. How are you? Sorry, I didn't mean to catch you mid-drinking. I was curious. So I asked Josh if he had a favorite play that he had advocated for that you decided to run. And he mentioned one that was like during a game, during a timeout, he advocated for during the Seahawks game. What is kind of the communication between you and Josh, like in those timeouts, in those short moments where maybe he wants to run a play? Like, what is that like from your perspective?
Well, I think, it doesn't just happen on Sunday. It's the constant communication throughout the week and making sure that we see things the same way, the intent. Hey, this is how they're going to try to attack us, throughout the game, especially on timeouts or, if I have opportunities, I'm, asking them, hey, this or that. Hey, I'm thinking this, or, on the sidelines, kind of previewing some potential thoughts as we kind of go. But when your quarterback comes to the sideline and he's like, hey, give me this, I'm going to make it work. There's ownership with it. And when you have a guy like Josh Allen, I'd rather go down with him believing that he's going to make a play work than me saying, oh, no, I got this, and, if Josh is doing that a lot of times throughout the game, then more times than not, it's going to work out. And so, you go to the Seahawks game, there's plays yesterday where he comes to the sidelines, like, give me that play, and he's going to make it work. And if he doesn't, it's not the end of the world. I'm going to still trust him on the next one. And so, I believe in the ownership, and more times than not, he's going to find a way.
I know this is like super detail specific, but how does that get to you? I know maybe that's a basic question. Like, is he telling someone and that gets to you? Is he getting on the headset in those instances and like having a conversation with you? Like, how does that actual communication go?
Well, I think fortunately, when I was the quarterback coach, I know kind of his vibe and kind of when things are happening and through a timeout and, coming on the sideline. And so there's a lot of times I'm, as I'm communicating down to RCAs, anything, Josh, any thoughts from Josh, or hey, what's he thinking? And there might be a timeout and he goes to the sideline and he tells RC, hey, give me this, hey, bring this up to Joe, or, as much communication as we can have being upstairs, to him, the better. As long as he knows what I'm thinking. Hey, I know you want this. Hey, just be ready for this. As long as we're on the same page, I'm going to trust him all day, every day.
For sure. One other thing for me, I was curious, asked a bunch of guys in the locker room, like their favorite plays maybe they've advocated for. Do you have, maybe not Josh specific, like a play that a player came to and was like this season, like, oh, I'd really love to run this and it worked, that like stands out to you, like that someone advocated for? And if not, it's okay. But if there's like anything that comes to mind for you.
It's tough. And I don't, unfortunately, one probably doesn't come to my mind.
Okay.
But there's oftentimes throughout a game and, Fridays throughout the week that, guys will be like, I want this, I'll make this work. Give me this play and I'm going to do it. And I know it sounds so elementary, but, why would I not call those plays? So throughout the games, I'm halftime, I'm going to the offensive line being like, hey guys, this is what we're thinking. What do you guys think? You guys are the ones that are actually approaching those blocks and feeling it. Hey, James, Jimbo, how you feeling it? I'm going across those guys. I have a vision in a mind of, hey, how I think the game's being played and what I think, but they're out there actually having to go through it. And so, I think as much as we can have the communication, one play in particular might not necessarily stand out, to my head right now, but there's a lot of times that the guys are kind of bringing things up and I'm like, yeah, let's go for it.
Okay, one last thing for me. Khalil was very much so like, I'll do whatever. Like, I go with the flow, like whatever they call for me, I do. To have a guy like that that's like, yeah, whatever, like I just want whatever's successful. Like, what is that kind of perspective like, to have someone who's playing at his level right now be like, I want to play whatever's called for me, and like, I don't really care, that sort of mentality.
Yeah, and when your best players have that mentality, it's hard for everybody to not have that mentality, and knowing that, hey, like the game's going to come to me, the opportunities are going to come, and I'm going to be ready for them. And sometimes, unfortunately, when your better players, you try to get them the ball as much as you can, but defenses are trying to do the same thing and trying to stop your best players. And as long as we have a bunch of guys that aren't concerned with where they are in the progression, when the opportunities, just making sure that when the opportunities come their way, they make the most of it. And, I say it every week, and I'm going to say it for the next 10 weeks, the character of the locker room, the offense that we have, it allows me to, we have a bunch of competitors, don't get me wrong. Like, it's not hey, I'm okay with not getting the ball. Like, everybody wants the ball, but they understand, hey, whatever it takes to win, we're going to find that way. And when my opportunity comes, I'm going to make the most of it. So that's everything to me.